I think it's fair to say the biggest news regarding Aston Villa Football Club this January has actually been an off-the-pitch matter. And, we've sort of been feuding with Castore over God knows how long. Castore, however you want to say it, over these sort of well-look shirts. And it's something that they just haven't been able to sort of resolve. And you kind of have to feel for Castore because, how do you bounce back from this? It just doesn't seem to happen. But the news obviously has come out that it looks like we're sort of lining up with Adidas, which is absolutely massive. This is as big as it gets, really, Phil. I know we've had Nike before. We've never had an Adidas kit. But I think what's exciting about this is it was kind of like there was a lot of teams that sort of had Nike when we had Nike, and it's the same with Adidas. Nike and Adidas, they're the two big boys in this industry. They're the two guys who you want producing your kits. In my personal opinion, right now, 2023, 2024, Adidas are making the best kits in the game. They've been doing it on the international stage. They've been doing it with clubs like Ajax. Oh God, I've put myself on the spot here. There's a lot of nice Adidas kits, and I have too many of them in my bedroom. This is really exciting, mate. And I think the sort of interesting part about this is there are sort of different levels to the partnership, right? I think Arsenal's probably the perfect example. They've smashed it out of the park with Arsenal. This collaboration has been a breath of fresh air. Arsenal had Puma for the longest time. Kits were pretty average. And Adidas have come in and they've sort of leveled up not only the kits, but the apparel, the sort of general merchandise, all that kind of thing. And I believe from what I'm reading that we're looking at a sort of B-tier partnership, right? And the papers are saying that it's a deal that's worth £12 million per year, which is like quadrupling what we're currently on with Castore, I believe. So not only just in terms of from a selfish consumer point of view, we're going to get some really nice gear that we can wear. This is massive for the club and the sort of financial outlay. And, everything we just spoke about before about financial fair play. These kind of things accumulate and start to make a bit of a difference certainly from where we are and where we have been, don't they?
Oh, mate, without a shadow of a doubt, this is really big for the club. We're only in our second season with Castore. Feels a lot longer. I don't know what that says. We signed a multi-year deal with Castore back in 2022. But yes, as of 2024-25, we will be turning to the German heavyweights in Adidas. So yeah, those tier one clubs are going to be your Manchester United, your Real Madrids, your Arsenals, all of those big guys that get all sorts of the stuff off the field, all of those collabs and everything like that. Like they recently did. If you've seen Arsenal walking out in the black and white training jackets, it's because of a kind of collab they did with Ian Wright. They do loads of cool stuff off the field. And by and large, I think the kits have been really nice too. Obviously, Adidas has always been on the periphery of Villa fans when we talk about new kit manufacturers because our co-owner, Nassef Sawiris, owns about 7% of the brand. And so we've kind of been debating whether that meant that one day we would end up with Adidas or whether it would be the one reason that we didn't, whether it would constitute a conflict of interests and all that sort of stuff, whether you could legislate for that, basically. Like, owner, he's already got his part in the fund. Is it not a kind of cycling of funds, whatever? Kind of however financially we needed to package that. It looks like we've got it over the line. Chris Heck has been really important in this process. It certainly is a guarantee that he's been heavily involved throughout, and it's kind of his first major win, and I dare say a win that he very much needed given the ongoing press debacle, the stuff around the stadium and ticketing prices and all that sort of stuff, which meant that his arrival to Villa Park has been tumultuous, shall we say. So he needed this win personally. He's got it through the door, and it puts an end to all of this ongoing stuff with Castore. The Villa stuff particularly has been a really bad look for Castore. Obviously, we had all of those issues with the wet-looking kits, which was a big story earlier on in the season. I have it here in front of me. That's because the shirts were made up of 90% polyester and 10% elastane, actually, which was not saturated and not able to absorb sweat efficiently. There you go. That's the official line. Newcastle are also cutting short their contract with Castore and will be moving to Adidas too. So interesting that we're working kind of in parallel here with Newcastle, and switching from one manufacturer, leaving a deal early to go to Adidas. So again, that's usually down to the lucrative nature of working with Adidas, but it's big for the club. It's attractive for the club. Prospective fans of the club are going to be way more drawn to buying kits and getting involved if it has the Adidas logo on it. We know how these things work. Villa have had a lot of kit manufacturers over the year. You just think of in recent years, but Castore and Kappa and Luke and Macron and Under Armour and then Nike and all that. You just go back. We've never really found one. But despite that, this is the first time I think in our history that we've been with Adidas. So this is quite seismic and very exciting. I am a little bit cautious. Whenever Adidas have done claret and blue kits, I'm yet to be sold. I remember they did West Ham a few years ago.
Yeah.
And because you normally get the 3 stripes down the sleeves, when you've got the divide between claret and blue, how do you I know it sounds kind of crazy, but the stripes are going to need to be white, you would assume. And so that needs some figuring out. I was never really a massive fan of the West Ham kits back in the day, but I'm not going to hold that against them. This is really, really exciting for the club. It's yet to be announced officially, but this is common knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the kit that I'm probably most excited for that doesn't exist yet is the third kit, because Adidas do third kits. They do them right. And yeah, I mean, I think I probably shared the same concerns about in regards to the West Ham thing. I always thought, oh God, they're proper ugly kits. We're talking like the Enna Valencia days, aren't we? Sort of back end of the Allardyce era. Final season at the Bowling Ground. But yeah, it's one of them. I think, as I said before, Adidas for me currently are the best in the game when it comes to making kits. So this is exciting. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to my bank account being depleted by Aston Villa and Adidas. It's going to be great. I feel like everyone's going to be wearing like claret and blue Sambas and Gazelles down Villa Park now as well. I remember when Luke dropped the shoe, they did the claret and blue shoe that like everyone's dad seems to own. I feel like we're going to have a similar thing. Or like the specials. I think there was a pair of specials, weren't there, a couple of years ago that were claret and blue, which probably they'll look to bring back potentially if there's interest. But yeah, it's good. It's good news, mate. It is good news.